Today we are learning Chapter 3, Lesson 8, which can be found on pages 201 through 206. Our objective is I can divide a 4-digit number by a 1-digit number. Vocabulary is place value. Question 1. The video says that instead of trying to divide the whole number at once, to divide blank digit at a time. Question 2. If there's a remainder in your problem, where does it go? And here's the link to the video because we're just going to watch a part of it. Okay, so this video is going to show you how to divide a 3-digit number by a 1-digit number, which is going to be the same process as dividing a 4-digit number by a 1-digit number.
Hi, welcome to Math Antics. In this lesson, we're going to learn about long division. If you haven't already watched our video about basic division, then be sure to go back and watch that first. It'll make learning long division a lot easier. Long division is just a way of breaking up a bigger division problem into a series of short division steps like the ones that we did in the basic division video. The nice thing about long division is that once you know the procedure, you can divide up all kinds of numbers, even if they're really big. The key to long division is to think about our division problem digit by digit. If our dividend, the number we're dividing up, has a lot of digits, then that means that there'll be a lot of division steps to do. When we learned basic one-step division, all of the dividends were small enough that we could just use the multiplication table to help us find the answer. But what if we have a division problem like this, 936 divided by 4? 936 is definitely not on our multiplication table. In fact, there's not anything even close to 936. So what do? Well, instead of trying to divide the entire 936 by 4 all at once, let's break this problem up into smaller steps by just trying to divide each digit by 4, one digit at a time, digit by digit. Do you remember how with multi-digit multiplication and addition, we always start with the smallest digit, the ones place digit, and we work from right to left? Well, division is backwards. We still go digit by digit, but the other way. We start by trying to divide up the digit in the biggest number place first, and we work our way from left to right. So the first step in this problem is to divide the first digit of our dividend by 4. We'll just ignore the other digits for now. That makes it look like we have the division problem 9 divided by 4. Great, that's easy. It's just a basic division problem like in the last video. So we ask, how many 4s will it take to make 9, or almost 9? Well, 2 4s would be 8, and that's almost 9. So just like before, we put the 2 in our answer spot on top of the line. But wait a minute, there's a lot of room up there. Where exactly do we put it? Well, the answer digit should always go directly above the digit we're dividing. Since we're dividing the digit 9, our 2 should go right above the 9. Okay, now we multiply. 2 times 4 is 8, and the 8 goes below the 9 so that we can subtract to get our remainder. 9 minus 8 is 1, so our remainder is 1. Now at this point, in our basic one-step division problems, we would rewrite our remainder up in our answer with a little r next to it. But we aren't going to do that yet because this is long division, and we still have more digits to divide, the ones we've been ignoring. Since we're going digit by digit, let's stop ignoring the next digit in our dividend, the 3. Now you might think that our next division step is to divide that 3 by the 4, but it's not quite that simple. We had a remainder from our last division step, and we can't just forget about that. We need to combine that remainder with our next digit and divide them both together. We do that by bringing down a copy of the next digit, the 3, and put it right beside the remainder, which is 1. When we do that, it looks like our remainder is 13. It's kind of like our remainder is teaming up with the next digit over. And if you think about it, that makes sense, because the digits that we were ignoring during our first division step really are part of the remainder because we still need to divide them. Okay, so bringing down that next digit makes our remainder bigger, and that's good because before the remainder was so small that 4 couldn't divide into it, but now it's 13 and 4 will divide into 13. So we ask, how many 4s will it take to make 13? Well, 3 4s would be 12, and that's really close without being too big, so let's put 3 in our answer line. Yep, it goes right over the 3 because that's the next digit we were dividing in this digit by digit process. And then 3 times 4 is 12, which we put right below the 13 so that we can subtract to get the next remainder, which will also be 1. See how we're just repeating the basic division procedure, but we're going further down the screen as we do. Alright, now that we have a new remainder, it's time for our next division step. Let's stop ignoring the last digit in the dividend, the 6, and bring down a copy of it to team up with our new remainder. Together, they form a remainder of 16. Aha! That's good because it's going to be easy to divide 4 into 16, because 16 is a multiple of 4. It takes exactly 4 4s to make 16. So we put a 4 in the last place of our answer line, and then we write the 16 below our new remainder. Now, if we subtract 16 from 16, we see that our last remainder will be 0, which means there's no remainder left. That's great! We solved the whole division problem, digit by digit, by breaking it up into 3 basic division steps. And now we know that 936 divided by 4 equals 234. And we also know why they call it long division. In fact, that was so long, I think I need a coffee break.
All right, so let's take a look in our books. I'm on page 201. Okay, so on that first page, there's a little note here that says to divide a good or dividend, use the same process as dividing by a 2-digit dividend. So it's the same steps that you're used to, we're just working through more numbers. So let's look at 852 divided by 4. So remember from your video, you're going to look at each digit at a time. So we're going to divide this hundredths place. How many times does 4 go into 8? We know that's 2. And then you're going to multiply 2 times 4, subtract, and then you got to compare. That's your check step where you're checking to make sure that it's not higher than 4. So I'm going to plug these in because I think you got a good example in the video. Okay, so once we do that, we compare the 0. Okay, that's less than 4, so I got to bring down our 5. Now we're looking, how many times does 4 go into 5? 1 time. So we're dividing the tens place. That's what that second step is. 4 times 1 is 4. Subtract. 5 minus 4 is 1. Is 1 less than 4? Our check or compare step? Yes. So now I bring my 2 down. Now I'm dividing the ones place. 4 goes into 12 3 times. And 4 times 3 is 12. So subtract that. And we don't have a remainder in this check. In this problem, I'm sorry. So when you check, lastly, make sure you multiply this 213, your quotient, by your divisor 4 and see if you get 852. Okay, now I wanted to show you what it's like with a 4-digit number. So in this case, you start with that first digit still. You start with this, in this case, it's the thousands place, not the hundreds though. So how many times does 6 go into 7? Let me get my pen out. 6 goes into 7 once. Now multiply. 1 times 6 is 6. Subtract. 7 minus 6 is 1. Is 1 less than 6? Yep. So I know I can bring down this 9. Now I have 19 I'm looking at. So I'm dividing the hundredths place and I have 19. How many times does 6 go into 19? 3 times. 3 times 6 gives us 18. 19 minus 18 is 1. Check. Is 1 less than 6? We're comparing? Yes. So we bring down this 4. Now we're on step 3, dividing the tens place. How many times does 6 go into 14? Well, it goes into it twice. 2 times 6 is 12. 14 minus 12, that 2 is bad, sorry. 14 minus 12 is 2. Is 2 less than 6? Yep, so I got to bring down again. Now I have 26. I'm dividing this ones place. How many times does 6 go into 26? 4. 4 times 6 gives us 24. Now we're subtracting 26 minus 24. We have 2 left. Is 2 less than 6? Yep. But what do I do with this 2 now? Because there's nothing else to bring down. So it becomes our remainder. So don't forget about remainders. So remainder of 2. Remember, check this division with a remainder. You first multiply the quotient and the divisor, and then you add in that remainder. So you'd multiply 1,324 times 6, and then we would add that 2 in. All right, so look back at question 1 and 2, and make sure that you check back in the video if you're stuck on any of this.